Hi everybody, this is Inger Nail and I'm coming to you from Create Good Food. Today we are talking about picky eating or fussy eating or maybe just not eating a whole lot of things. And I see a lot of it in my practice here at Foundations Family Nutrition, and there is a provider that actually asked the question, and it might be something that she's just not seeing a whole lot of in her practice. And that is just a child that comes that's really finicky about what they eat. A lot of times they have things going on as well, like in this case, constipation. The child only eats white foods, so that will cause constipation in a lot of cases. And so we're going to discuss that the younger kids, not the older kids. However, all this stuff works for the older kids. There's just more that you can do with some of the older kids. So we'll start with the young kids and do the older kids in another video if you're interested. So a couple things to start with. Number one, as a dietitian, I always want to make sure that that child's weight is not too low. So if the weight is too low, I can't have them sitting at a kitchen table at night not eating dinner. They need to eat. We need to make it a priority that they are in a healthy place for their weight. And the next thing is sort of to get an understanding of why that child might be sort of fussy about the way that they eat. There's lots of different reasons why a child might be fussy. It may be a sensory issue. It may have been that they were tube fed when they were a baby for whatever reason, and that can cause a lot of sensory and textural issues as well in the mouth. It could be that your child has eaten something and it's just gone down the wrong way and it has scared them, and so they want to stick with their safe foods, the things that they know that they can eat and not have that happen again, but they won't remember that, and you probably never even saw it. The other thing it could be is just an independence stage. So kids go through independent stages, and if it's treated as a way that you're allowing the food to get the best of you as a parent, and the frustration is going up and up, you can actually make the fussy eating and behaviors much worse. So how do we work with this? Number one is that the families that come, usually their frustration levels have gone really high. So they come and they just are almost shaking because they just don't know what to do. And they feel very judged by other families, especially when other families say, just give me your child for the day and I will fix this. He will eat. Not really. It may be for a meal or something, but no. So what do? The first thing is to get a happy table. So when the frustration levels are that high, a lot of times the dinner table is just a mess. So parents are eating at different times and so forth because they just can't relax and eat with the family. And so get a happy table. And the way you do that is, you give your child the foods that they like for 3 days. Just try it for 3 days and they'll be very suspicious. So on their plate, just serve up exactly what they like. It could be pudding, it could be bread, it could be pasta, it could be whatever it is that they like. And just give it to them for 3 days, for 3 nights. What you're doing is you're bringing everybody back to the kitchen table, and there's a sense of excitement. What's for dinner? What are we having? Okay, I'm going to like dinner. There's something that I'm going to be able to eat. I'm not going to have to fight with my family. This is going to be a pleasurable moment, and that's what we want it to be ultimately. So get them back to the table. Give them the foods that they like, and don't worry about whether or not they eat it or not. It's dinner. You like that. If you don't eat it, that's fine. Just sit with us though. And the next thing is to get the plate. You need a plate like this. It's got to have really high partitions. We do not want food touching. That is a huge no-no in fussy eater land. So make sure that it's got high partitions, and which can be hard to find sometimes actually. Here's another one, but it's only got 3 sections. I like the 4 because it can be a fruit, a vegetable, a protein, a grain. And as a parent, then I know that I got all the different categories and I don't have to think too hard, which I've got 3 little ones, so the less I have to think, the better. And also it just gets the kids into the habit of seeing those 4 different types of things on the plate. And a couple of rules around this plate with a fussy eater is the first few nights that you're putting new things that you know that they might not think are so good on the plate, always have the foods that they like. Always make sure there's at least 1, preferably 2 to begin with, towards them. So you do not want their foods the other way, because the foods that they're not so sure about are too close to them. That's not comfortable. So it's got to be away from them. And then also make sure you've already plated this plate before you give it to them. If you put an empty plate in front of them and start putting foods on it that they're not so sure that they like, you will get a tantrum. And it causes total chaos, and yeah, not good. So make sure you've already plated this. The next thing is don't watch. Don't care if they eat stuff, if you catch them playing with the food or they lick it or they try it, make sure you celebrate in another room. If you celebrate in front of them, you watch what happens. Oop, I don't want this anymore, Mommy. The plate will go away. So make sure that you celebrate in another room. You will see yourself do this wrong and you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. The other thing is be careful not to be a helicopter. Now, this is a really hard habit to break, and if there's a couple parents in the room, you can sometimes just warn each other, honey, it's a little helicopter-ish, and try to keep a sense of humor about it. But the minute you stand over someone, your child maybe, and say, so, did you try the lamb? Try the lamb. It's really good. Try the lamb. I made it. It's very special. The plate will go away again. So try not to do that. And if it does, just be like, oh, okay, and take it away. And the other thing is that you just don't care. If they start to spit out food and make comments about it, just change the subject. Just deal with it. Give them some water and no worries. And the other big thing that's helpful is leaving bowls around the house with foods that you know that they I've got a visitor, one of my little kids. Leave a bowl around the house with something in it that they might actually like. And after a few times, okay, I just had a little visitor. So I'll just finish now. But the one thing that really helps is to actually, it's a trick, but it works, is to leave a few bowls randomly in your house on tables. Just one, it's fine. But if the first ones put things in it that your child likes, so it could be strawberries if they like that, or cut up apple, or it could be anything. It could be chocolate chips. Okay, I'm a dietitian, I just told you that. So whatever works, whatever they like, just put it in here. Just a few pieces, and do it randomly. And what will happen is they'll equate this bowl with things that are good. And they'll also start to look for this bowl. And don't make any comment about whether they ate it or they didn't eat it. Just nothing. Just don't worry about it. And then you can start to mix things that you know that they're not so sure about with the things that they do like. So those chocolate chips, for example, you could put chocolate chips and some nuts if there's no allergy in the house, mixed together. And that is helpful because the food is actually touching the food that they like. And so they may actually just pick up the other one and try it as well. And if they do that, remember, do not celebrate in front of them. No comment, please. And if they say, oh, Mommy, I like this. Oh, honey, that's mine. Can I have that back? And what you want them to do is say, no, I want this. This is mine. Okay, I guess you can eat that one. I'll get some more, So the psychology is really big with this, and getting it right will mean that your kids progress towards trying foods, which is what you want, is just trying foods. It doesn't matter if they like it or they're not so sure if they like it yet, but just trying foods, that's a huge step. And yes, and again, so you provide and they decide, but you just got to get the psychology around all of that right as well. All right, I'm signing off and taking care of some kids, and good luck. If you have any questions, just text underneath here and I'll try to answer them. And yeah, it's a challenge. Try not to get frustrated, and if you have any other videos or podcasts that you want answered or done, let me know that as well, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.